Now, the top lawmakers in the IRS are now urging people to claim additional $3,600 in stimulus relief money before the deadline, which is just a few days away. Social Security beneficiaries and senior citizens could also see a monthly benefit change very soon. The Social Security Administration oversees a variety of financial support programs, but it is the retirement benefits that are by far the most widely utilized. The program provides replacement income for qualified retirees and their families. In February 2022, around 65 million people received some form of support from the Social Security Administration, of which more than 50 million claimed retirement benefits, a whopping 77%. Data from the Social Security state that the current average monthly benefit for a retired worker is around $1,600. Spouses of retired workers got $838 on average, while children of retired workers typically get $784. The retirement support provided by Social Security was designed to ensure that elderly people are able to cover the cost of essentials, and it now plays a vital role in the finances of older Americans. Data published by the Ssdi last year found that roughly 9 out of 10 people aged 65 or older in the United States were receiving a Social Security benefit. Social Security is able to provide vital support for the vast majority of elderly Americans because it is paid for with monthly contributions from nearly all adults and works in the United States. There are dedicated trust funds to cover the cost, but a change in demographics in recent decades could threaten the long-term viability of the programs. Estimates now suggest that, using the current model, the trust funds will only be able to pay the full retirement benefits until 2034. After that point, recipients will receive just 75% of their benefits, a huge decrease for elderly Americans who are relying on the support for their retirement. Lawmakers, including Chuck Schumer, are trying to pass new legislation as soon as possible to prevent any benefit cuts from happening. Now, there are millions of families that are suffering because of the loss of President Biden's expansion of the child tax credit, and that resulted in an increase in child poverty by roughly 41%. Under Biden, Democrats conducted the most effective attack on child poverty in American history. But it's important to remember to understand why the Biden child tax credit cut poverty. If you examine government survey data, about 90% of people in poverty are either children, students, unemployed, disabled, or retired. Until 2021, America had no child allowance, and therefore reliably about 1/5 of all children lived in poverty, by far the highest such figure among rich countries. The child tax credit was designed to rectify this problem. Now it had its problems. For one, it was administered by the IRS instead of the Social Security Administration, which meant many of the poorest people missed out because they don't file taxes and could not be reached. When President Biden delivered his State of the Union address, he touted the benefits of a pending social spending package that could deliver more money to Americans. Biden has proposed extending the expanded child tax credit that came with monthly payments of up to $300 per child to eligible families last year. But there are many changes that will make the credit look a little different than the aid put in place last year. There are a few lawmakers that have said they want the credit tied to work requirements. Mitt Romney is working on a child tax credit proposal with work provisions that he hopes can affect and attract bipartisan support. And Senator Romney's Family Security Act is very similar to what the expanded child tax credit was offering eligible families. Romney's plan would also allow parents to start claiming 4 months before the due date of a child, potentially providing an early boost to finances in preparation for the birth. Maximum monthly payments would be capped at $1,250. Lawmakers involved in negotiations say support has been funding aimed at supporting Americans and businesses that have been negatively impacted by the crisis. Democratic Senator Ben Cardin is the chair of the Senate Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee. Cardin expressed optimism when discussing Senator Rogers' effort to gain more backing for the push among their colleagues. The senators told The Hill that we are continuing to get bipartisan support. Cardin also said the primary focus in talks has been to replenish relief funding for Americans and restaurants, after a previous batch of funds allocated by Congress ran out months back. Advocates say that funding would come at a crucial time, as restaurants continue to grapple with the economic effects of the ongoing crisis. So I do think Congress should pass another stimulus package that provide all Americans and businesses with more financial assistance. Multiple sources are telling The Hill that the funding could not happen soon enough, noting thousands of restaurants are closed permanently or long-term, as many businesses find a hard time recovering during the crisis. It's really sad to see that many small restaurants are still incredibly vulnerable right now. Last year, lawmakers approved more than $28 billion in relief funds designated for restaurants, as part of the Restaurant Revitalization Act. Advocates say that while those funds were effective in helping many restaurants remain operating in the short term, a chunk of restaurants were left behind in the process. Some advocates are also pushing lawmakers to ensure businesses in other industries receive more financial relief during the crisis. So I do agree that the American people should receive additional stimulus aid as this crisis continues. What are your thoughts on this, everybody? Tell me in the comments down below. And do you believe that President Biden is doing all that it takes to send out more stimulus payments?
Jane, thank you. Thank you very, very much. I want to thank Secretary Granholm and Buttigieg and Gina McCarthy for being here today, and Congressman Jim Cooper, an old friend who did an awful lot to get this to go in Tennessee. And Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee, he deserves credit as well. He wasn't able to be here today, but he worked hard to help make this happen. Another example of what America can achieve when we come together, Democrats and Republicans, to get things done. The new manufacturing facility of tritium that's announced today is more than just great news for Tennessee. Yes, it's going to create more than 500 good-paying jobs in Tennessee, but it's going to deliver greater dignity and a little more breathing room to workers and their families, and it's going to have a ripple effect beyond and far beyond the one state. This is great news for workers across the country, for an economy, and frankly, for the planet. When we wrote and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, we included $7.5 billion for electric vehicle chargers, like the one Jane brought along today. It's a little thing, you can see. But all kidding aside, Secretaries Granholm and Buttigieg have been helping lead this effort from our administration. And later this week, we're going to announce a state-by-state allocation for $5 billion of the funding for these chargers. So states can start making plans to build out what will become a national network of electric vehicle chargers. Tritium's new facility is going to produce up to 30,000 of these chargers every year. They'll use American parts, American iron, American steel, and they'll be installed up and down the highways and corridors in our communities all across the country by union workers from the IBEW and the Electrical Workers Union. So the benefits are going to ripple to thousands of miles in every direction. And these jobs will multiply in steel mills, small parts suppliers, construction sites all over the country in the years to come. And it's going to help ensure that America leads the world in electric vehicles. China has been leading that race up to now. But this is about to change, because America is building convenient, reliable, equitable, national public charging networks. So wherever you live, charging an electric vehicle will be quick and easy.